Hola, hola, mis amores, and welcome back to your favorite channel for learning Español, Everyday Español. Conmigo, Profe Madison. I'm so glad you've joined us for today's lesson because today we're going to be tackling the preterite, okay? So the preterite in Spanish is talking about actions in the past. Ready to dive into today's lesson? So what is the preterite tense? Why do we call it that? That word's confusing. Just know that the word preterite is a way to express one of the past tenses in Spanish. So the preterite tense expresses completed actions that happen at a specific time in the past. So if I ask, what did you eat yesterday for dinner? You would use the preterite. If I said, hey, what did you do last Friday? The preterite, it's in the past, a specific time frame. And they're completed, it's done. So the preterite expresses completed actions within a certain time frame. Another way I like to think about the preterite is interruptions. So if all of a sudden you're walking and then something fell, the falling thing is a completed action that happened within a short time frame. So completed action, short time frame, or an interruption to something. Now, the not so great thing about the preterite is that there are so many irregular verb forms when you're talking in the past tense preterite. But today, I'm just going to focus on teaching you the regular verb endings for the preterite tense for AR and ER words, as if they were regular words. Because like I said, there are so many irregulars, but we're going to focus on those that are regular, and then hopefully you can notice sentence patterns and structures that go along with those irregular verbs. I've mentioned this before, Spanish is all about recognizing patterns. If you can pick up on a pattern, you're going to be successful, okay? You don't have to be perfect 100% of the time, but recognizing patterns and being able to apply or see how the patterns go is going to really help you in Spanish. When we are conjugating in the preterite tense, again, we're going to separate verbs. Remember, verbs are actions into two categories. Those that end in AR and those that end in ER or IR. So if you can first step recognize, okay, does it fit into the AR category or the ER/IR category? Great first step. All right, so let's start off with some AR verbs, okay? So with this, like caminar, hablar, bailar, cantar, all of those end in AR, so they would fit into the AR category. So just like you conjugate in any other tense, your first step is going to, we categorized it, okay? Second step, you're going to take off that AR, remove it, it's gone. Okay, so you're just left with the stem. Okay, so if I want to say I talk or I talked or I spoke, okay, I categorized hablar into AR, took off that ending, bye-bye ending, okay, and I'm left with habl. So if I want to say I spoke, I would say yo hablé, E with an accent. Now, these accents in the preterite are so important. They're not optional. They're not just there for fun to spice it up. No. It can completely change the meaning of the word if you don't put the accent. So any word that ends in AR in Spanish is always, for yo, going to be E with an accent. So hablé. To say you spoke or you talked, I would say tú hablaste. Aste as the ending for AR verbs, to say tú. If I want to say he talked, I would say él habló. O with an accent. Don't forget those accents, people. So one of my colleagues taught me how to help kids remember these endings with a little rhyme. And if you know the rhyme or the story of Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet eating her porridge and that, if you know that, it's kind of go along with that to help us remember the endings in the preterite, okay? I'm not taking credit for this. A colleague taught me this, and my kids love it, okay? So you say Little Miss Buffet, E with the accent, O, sat on her aste, eating her curds and O's. Okay, so I just did yo, tú, he or she. Along came amos, followed by hasta so she wouldn't be all alone. So that little rhyme thing helps you just remember the endings there. So Little Miss Buffet sat on her aste, eating her curds in O's. Along came amos, followed by hasta so she wouldn't be all alone. That's just something silly that a colleague of mine taught, but it really sticks with a lot of people if you're having trouble memorizing those endings. Oh, would you look at that? Today I have to complete my Unacademy lesson of the day. All right, so let's do el agua está allá. The water is here or the water is over there. El agua está allá over there, okay? Ella va, she goes. Tú comes, you eat. Yo bebo, I drink. Él es, he is. Okay, all right. ¿Dónde está el parque o la tienda? ¿Dónde está el parque? I go to the airport. Is it yo voy al aeropuerto o yo voy al aeropuerto. Al aeropuerto. Okay. I go to the restaurant without my family and my friend. Translate. Yo voy al restaurante sin mi familia y mi amigo. Perfecto. Okay. All right, you guys just helped me complete my Unacademy lesson for the day. Thank you so much for helping me maintain that streak. All right, so let's do some examples. You guys are going to tell me who did this action based on the ending, okay? If I said, hablaron por teléfono por 5 horas. Hablaron por teléfono por 5 horas. Who talked on the phone for 5 hours? Who did that? All right, let's look at that ending. Hablaron, they did. Okay, because hablaron is the ending that you would use for ellos, ellas, or ustedes. Okay, they talked on the phone for 5 hours. All right, let's do another example. If I said, no bailé, no bailé. Who didn't dance? Who didn't dance? No bailé. That's right. I didn't dance. Because I said E with the accent on the end, bailé, I didn't dance. Okay, that ending tells you who did the action. Okay, so we have the verb vivir, which means to live. And we've already separated it into that first category. It's in the ER-IR category. Now, we got to take off that IR at the end, take it away, and put it away. Bye. Okay, so now we're just left with the stem viv. So to say I lived, you would say yo viví. I with an accent. If I wanted to say you lived, you would say tú viviste. The iste ending, I-S-T-E. Now remember, all of these endings are the same endings for words that end in IR and ER. So if I wanted to say he or she lived, él vivió. I-O with the accent is the ending for this word. So let's do a little bit of practice again with the IR endings, and you're going to tell me who did that, who did this thing. All right, so if I said, comí 3 hamburguesas. Comí 3 hamburguesas. Who ate 3 hamburgers? Who ate 3 hamburgers? Okay, it has I with the accent. That means I did. All right, let's do another one. If I said, ellos vivieron en Chicago. Ellos vivieron en Chicago. Who lived in Chicago? Who did? Okay, vivieron, I-E-R-O-N. Okay, they did. They lived in Chicago. Whew. You guys are doing great. You guys did so good today. The preterite, big takeaways, okay? The accents are not optional. They're not for flair. They're not for funsies, okay? They couldn't completely change the meaning of a word if we don't write those accents. So where do the accents fall? In which conjugation tenses, okay? The yo and he, she form for both AR and ER verbs, okay? The I with the accent and the I-O with an accent. And then with the AR verbs, the E with the accent, yo, and the he, she form, O with an accent. So that's one big key takeaway. Another takeaway is preterite tense tells you about a completed action within a certain time frame or some kind of interruption to something you were doing, okay? You did this, you completed this, you walked, you talked, you ate, okay? Past tense. So Spanish is all about recognizing patterns. If you notice the difference between the AR endings and the ER-IR, they're almost identical. It just switches out the vowel. AR has the A endings in it, and the ER-IR all have I's. Remember, it never has to be perfect, okay? Just the willingness to try and to do it. All right, guys, I think that's about it for today. But let's go back to the question I asked you about midway through the video. I need you guys to respond to this in the comments, okay? Let's have this discussion. So to remind you, the question was, ¿Con quién hablaste tú ayer? ¿Con quién hablaste tú ayer? Who did you talk to yesterday? So write in a full sentence in the comments, yesterday, I talked to blank. I can't wait to see your guys' responses in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, share, and join me next time on Everyday Español for more Spanish just like this. Adios, me voy.